Here goes nothing. Hello, and welcome to my first ever live stream. Hopefully everyone can hear me. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, this is my first ever live stream in an entire 7 years on this channel. I've been a guest on a few others before, but never on my own, so hopefully everything will be smooth. But seriously, thank you so much for taking the time to come and celebrate the end of the year with me. Sound is good. I love it when the sound is good. Yes, so the main objective for today is to get a bit of a Q&A. So if you have any questions, do let me know. And I have a wonderful moderator in the comments, my lovely friend Rebecca, who is going to send them to me. And I've also got some off Instagram as well. And also, of course, the photo contest results. Hopefully a few people who've submitted their photographs will be in the chat, because I think that'll be quite exciting. But yeah, I'm very excited. How is everyone? Oh, we've got people from all around the world. How crazy. And thank you for hopefully getting a decent time zone for everyone as well. I know it's really awkward trying to sort it out, so I hope that works okay for everyone. Yeah. Oh, I found a first question. What is my take on pineapple pizza? Honestly, I was vegetarian for like 10 years, so pineapple pizza with Tabasco sauce is life. It was my favourite thing in the world. I've since relapsed, unfortunately. Anyway, fair warning, because I'm not used to being live, I have a tendency to just like, if I mess up a sentence, just repeat myself because I know that I can cut it in editing. So if I do that, then that'll just be fun for everyone, won't it? Okay, so I thought I would kick off with a few questions from Instagram. I put this on my Instagram stories a couple of days ago and I got a good few results. And let's see if my OBS is working. Oh, dude, I'm basically a live stream wizard. So, Skulda asked, which tiny camera have you used most this year? And I think it will surprise absolutely no one when I say that it was my tiny GM5. I did a challenge with it for about 6 months where I had it as my only camera, as my everyday carry, and it was absolutely lovely. Oh, got Brazil. Oh, I'm sorry. I've caused a little bit of controversy over the pineapple pizza. Okay. Now, if it helps at all, I'm a pepperoni gal. But yeah, pineapple does belong on pizza. It does. It really does. Skulda got 2 questions. Cheeky. What is the favourite place that you've travelled this year for photography? Actually, I don't know if you saw, but earlier on today, I put my Norway video up. I visited Tromsø in Polar night a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago. Time means nothing in this void between Christmas and New Year. And honestly, it was so challenging shooting in low light 24/7, but it was really, really good fun, and the Micro Four Thirds system absolutely blew me away. So I would say Tromsø in Norway. It was like a last minute favourite. But I've been blessed this year. I was lucky enough to go to Osaka with Lumix, and I went to the Faroe Islands again with my dad, and a couple of other places as well. Did the Costa Rica, Greece. Yeah, I've been a very lucky gal. I've been spoiled this year. But yeah, I think Tromsø was my favourite. Oh, I've just seen a comment about Susanna said, I saw your video course on your website. Are you going to do an advanced course too? So I've got a video for beginners course. It's like a photography guide to beginners, a beginner's guide, a photographer's guide to video. I don't even remember the name of my own course. This is going well. Basically, if you know your stuff with photography and want to learn video, that's what it's for. But it's for absolute beginners. In the new year, I'm going to do some photo editing workshops, I think, because I think that's where my skills lie, and I think that could provide the most value to everyone. So I have no intention to do an advanced video course just yet, but photography, absolutely. Oh, Okay, favourite L mount lens. So, in terms of sort of what I use professionally, I like the 35mm, 85mm f1.8 combo. But the most interesting L mount lens that I've used recently is that teeny tiny one that they brought out, the 18 to 40. I think it's a lens that finally makes the S9 make a little bit of sense because there's no point having a tiny camera with a massive lens on it. So I'm glad that there is a tiny option now. Oh, did I have any luck seeing the Northern Lights? I will show you. I will show you my luck having the Northern Lights. I got it on the plane. I was fuming. Yeah, no luck until I left, unfortunately. But I got a nice one from the plane. Oh, Rebecca is being amazing. She's sending links in the comments. Oh, actually, that is actually Rebecca. My beautiful moderator is multi-talented, and she is also underwater model, all kinds of things. She's a pet photographer. She does amazing things, but yeah, also a moderator. Wonderful. So, oh, before I answer this question, I've just noticed that Jim in the comments has said that The X-Files was one of my favourite shows ever. Oh my goodness, yes. It's my favourite. I've been obsessed since I was a child. I think I could win some kind of like quiz award for all the useless knowledge that I know about The X-Files. It's amazing. So, on a tangent, what is my favourite game on console? I absolutely love the Far Cry series, and my favourite one is Far Cry 5. If you don't know the sort of background of Far Cry 5, it's like this crazy cult takes over America and you have to stop them. It's a very exciting game. And there's a dog in it, which is adorable, called Boomer, and a leopard, a cheetah, called Peaches. Hi, Emily. Are there any tips on how to find good balance between rules and your own creativity? I really like this question when it came through. Thank you very much for asking me that question. I think one of the things that got me thinking a little bit more freely about photography is realizing that we're shooting digital, and nobody has to see the bad photos that we take. So there's absolutely no harm, in my opinion, in taking a couple of different focal lengths, a couple of different up, down, in, out, shake it about, all different kinds of compositions in any given scene, and just seeing what works. I think center framing is something that I really like, which technically breaks a lot of rules because it's not necessarily a rule of thirds thing. And I think just giving yourself freedom to shoot when you're out and about and analysing things later can be really, really freeing. I'm definitely not one of these photographers that can go out and like stick a tripod on and take 2 photographs and then go home. I would just be like, no. Give me all of the options, and I think that will really help with creativity. Who else have we got in the comments? My question of the day: I love the G9 and the GX8, but I've been looking to get an S5 or an S5 too. Is it worth the extra money? I think it all really depends on what you enjoy shooting and what sort of characteristics you value. I did a video recently about full frame versus, anything other than full frame, and it boils down to, if you are primarily a portrait shooter, if you really like low light photography or astrophotography, perhaps full frame is the way to go. And the autofocus on that is wonderful, but it's only as good as like the G9 just anything that has phase detect in general is very, very good. So you don't have to go full frame to get the autofocus benefits. And as I hopefully proved in like my Norway video, I think Micro Four Thirds, with the right lenses, you can get some absolutely gorgeous low light stuff. I think that's probably my favourite photo. And it's nice and clean, does the job. So I think you can get some really nice low light stuff with Micro Four Thirds, and you just have to be a little bit more picky with your lens choices, I guess. have a cheeky look in the comments. Yes, we have some Far Cry 5 fans in here. 5 is the best. 6 really disappointed me, actually. I've replayed 5 so much. So if you weren't doing photography and video, what would you be doing? I've always been curious. So my life, my sort of career path before photography was really boring. I was a rep in John Lewis. I ironically was working for Panasonic, but a completely different branch, like the TVs. And my whole job was like, here is a TV. It's wonderful. Let me show you how it works, and maybe you'll buy one, and training staff and stuff like that. And my goodness, I spent every minute I could building my wedding business to try and build something of my own. And then I did my wedding photography and videography business for many, many years. And then started YouTube in the winter months to try and keep myself occupied and creative. And then that slowly just sort of took over, and yeah, I wouldn't be doing anything else. I'm very, very lucky to be doing this. And that's entirely down to every one of you who gives me your time, which I really appreciate. Okay, so keep the questions coming in. My lovely moderator, Rebecca, is sending them to me on a different screen, which has gone off. Yeah, we're winning. Oh, is Josh here? We have a Josh. Hi, Josh. Josh said, what is your favourite photo you've taken this year? And you can only pick one. Oh, well, it's in this folder. I'm going with, I know I can't, I'm not showing you screen. I'm going with this one. I think this is probably my favourite photo that I took this year. I'm going to go through them a little bit in a little while after we've done the photo contest, if you don't mind indulging me. But yeah, the underwater photo shoot for me was just super fun. And yeah, working with Ellen, who was so acrobatic and relaxed in the water, was incredible. But I digress. On to the photo contest. Now, you know what? I'm a live stream expert. Nothing's gone wrong. I've just jinxed us now, haven't I? I've absolutely just jinxed us. Anyway, so if you've been a part of the photo contest this year, then this will be old news to you. But just in case there's anybody in here who watches me on YouTube but has missed the photo contest stuff, via my mailing list, I've been running a monthly contest, and usually we have different prompts. So it might be negative space on one month, or it might be street photography. And then when I do a critique video at the end of the month, it's pre-recorded, so I can mess up and repeat myself as much as I like on those videos. And I do. We have honourable mentions, where I just want to shout out some of the images that have really caught my eye, and perhaps give a little bit of critique on how I might do them slightly differently, always in a supportive way. And then we have the top 10, and then the top 3, which are ranked 3, 2, 1, and those are the places that get the lovely prizes. Now, December was a little bit different, a little bit unique, because instead of it being a specific prompt, we had just give me your damn best photograph. Give me the best photograph you took in 2024, tell me all about it, and let's celebrate the success. And we've got some fancy pants prizes as well. We have a M1 Mac Mini for the first place, and also a GX80. Now, the GX80 is something that I've sourced myself. Basically, when you guys support the channel by buying my presets, I just put the money back in the channel and try and give back as much as I can. And the M1 is actually a really lovely story. Let me just full screen for this. Yeah, so I had a gent called Paul who reached out to me on the Facebook Micro Four Nerds group, and he was like, I've got an old Mac, I've just upgraded to the new one. Is there anybody that you can think that could benefit from this to help them with photography? And I'm like, that is the nicest thing ever. And I explained, I have this photo contest, and it'd be a great prize. It could hopefully help someone who's learning to edit better on photography. And yeah, he sent it along and donated the prize. So thank you so much to this generous community. It blows me away every blooming time. It's super cool. So we have 2 wonderful prizes. And then the other thing that I must shout out, before I get stuck into the contest is we still have some Moment courses. Now, Moment have supported this project for the whole blooming year. They've been amazing. They've donated prizes. They've been giving away courses up to £300. It's been an incredible partnership, and everyone who's won so far has really enjoyed the courses. So in third place, we have a Moment course up for grabs as well. Let's have a cheeky peek. Oh, we've got a couple of familiar faces in the Richard Wong, hi! Oh, and we've got loads of people. Hello, everybody. Matthew's just said, I've just noticed, will there be any more content from Norway? I enjoyed the low light video and not long back from Tromsø myself. It's an amazing place. Do you know, it is an amazing place. I went with Josh, fellow YouTuber and friend, and we had a great old time. There was one part where I was shooting with a metal manual focus lens, one of the Voigtlanders, and I thought my fingers were going to fall off because I had to take my gloves off to get focus properly. But aside from potentially losing fingers, it was a very good trip. It was very good. In terms of extra videos, that was the low light comparison was the only one that I filmed when I was actually out there. But I have tons of photographs, so I'm sure it'll crop up organically in different videos going forward. Right, let's get stuck in to the photo contest, and I've got some more questions in a bit. We can go through all kinds of stuff. Keep chatting in the comments. It's so lovely to see everyone here. Back to Lightroom, and hi Rebecca again. So let's start with some honourable mentions, and oh, she's fancy, she's got some text on screen. This streamy stuff, I'm never going to edit a video again. Right, so honourable mentions. These are just some images that have caught my eye and I just want to show off to the community. And it would be wonderful if, while we're going through these images, send in some comments, compliments and critiques yourself, because I'm sure the people that I'm shouting out now will either be watching now or watching back at a later date, and it'd be lovely for them to see. So yeah, let's encourage one another and celebrate everyone's success. So, Angela said, I was going to get groceries and the light was just perfect as I got into the town. I always carry my little EM1 with me and I pulled over and took a few shots. This is my favourite photo from this year and a perfect example of why we should always carry a camera with us. I mean, if that is not exactly what I preach day in, day out, I don't know what is. And I just think, you know, you are absolutely right. The photograph is lovely. The leading line is gorgeous. And the colours in the sky are absolutely wonderful as well. And it is these little moments throughout the year that all add up when you do have a camera with you that make all the difference in the world, in my opinion. For example, today I was out, definitely not at McDonald's. Definitely not at McDonald's, and the sky was absolutely gorgeous. It looked like a sky replacement sky, and I didn't actually have a camera with me, and also I was in a McDonald's car park, so compositions were lacking. But if I'd have found the right place, like if I was going down this road and the sky was doing what it was doing, I would have loved to have had my camera with me. So excellent work, Angela. So for this one, I took this photo on my beloved Olympus OMD EM10 Mark II in the French Normandy this summer, and I love everything about it. I love how the woman walking up the slope is dressed in white and it counterbalances the two gentlemen in dark, and that is exactly what drew me to this image as well. I think having this sort of balance here is absolutely lovely, and yet the sort of the circular nature of the architecture versus more rugged straight lines, you know, there's so much going on for it. And I actually really like that the sky is just out of the equation. I think if we'd have had like clouds up here, it would have been much more distracting. So yeah, I think it's a great image and you should be very proud of it. Oh, Thomas, a previous finalist. The Moment courses are fantastic. I was so grateful to be able to do mine. Oh, that's amazing. I'm so glad that you found that valuable. All right, so this caption is adorable. First of all, I want to know where this is and I want to go on holiday. This is a picture of our senior dog, Chi Chi. This is probably not the best photo of 2024 or this contest, but this is by far the best photo of her, our best girl, with the best view. Oh, no, it's absolutely right. I think it's a gorgeous image. It's really well composed. If you don't mind me just adding a little bit of creative critique, because obviously it's a sentimental photograph, so it doesn't matter either way. But I think the superpower of this image is the lovely lighting, and I think it would probably do a little bit better and be a little bit more impactful if we didn't raise the shadows quite so much. Like having this beam of light on the dog rather than it being sort of really, really HDR'd. I think actually adding a little bit of contrast back in, maybe like that, just makes it draws your eye into the subject, which is your beautiful dog. And yeah, I think it's a beautiful image, but I think just adding a little bit more contrast back in would do wonders. But yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous image, gorgeous dog. And I so get this because I've got two senior doggies myself, a 14-year-old and 13-year-old border collie, so I know how precious these images are, and the shadows don't mean anything ultimately. It was just sort of an editing thing that caught my eye. Thank you for sharing your image. Chihuahua, yes, absolutely. Ooh, just catching my eye on the comments as I'm going through. What's my favourite app for mobile photo editing? I'm actually really boring and really like Lightroom Mobile. I think if you pay for the subscription, you may as well, but you don't even need to pay for the subscription in order to do it. And you don't even need to pay for the subscription to use presets as well. There's a couple of workarounds to get presets on there. And I think it's the most robust app. For simple editing, like sort of straightening up and adding in contrast and things, I think Snapseed is an old favourite of mine. I think I've had that on a lot of my phones over the years. Cool. On to the next one. More doggies. There's a theme here. So, Jonathan said, I'm excited to share my first ever entry for the forum. I took up photography only in the last few months, and this is the first photo where I said to myself, I'm definitely going to print this and hang this on my wall. I haven't done this yet, but I will be doing so soon. I shot this on the Lumix GX8, excellent choice, with the 20mm f1.7, excellent choice. And this was the first time I took out my lens on the trip prior to buying it a few days earlier. I'm super proud of this photo. Now, I think you should be blooming super proud of this photo. I don't know if you can see it on the stream, I'll zoom in a little bit, but it looks like the dogs are like having a conversation with each other. They're like, have you seen that boat over there? Yeah, I have. It's quite cool. So I love how it's perfectly in a triangle in the centre. And when I first saw this image, my instinct was to try and remove these two things. But I actually think you're right, and it's perfect as it is. I think they balance out the cliff on the other side. Like, I think when you take these out, it looks a little bit empty. So I think there's absolutely nothing to change on this. What a beautiful thing to have come across. I love the tones. I love that you have the warmth in the sky, the blue. Yeah, there's a lot of whimsy. It's a wonderful, wonderful image. Cool. How do you think? What do you think about this one? Let us know in the comments. This one really caught my eye just because it's so abstract. It's like glass stairs going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, and I just think it's a beautiful composition. And you can even see the books at the top as well, so it's from a modern library, and yeah, gorgeous image. So this one from Catherine, a scan of a 35mm film photo, which unexpectedly turned out to be my favourite of the year. It was taken on a cheap as chips plastic panoramic camera, and we were just leaving a log cabin and we'd stayed at Wales in the summer. I was fascinated by the beautiful morning light and how serene it looked. Yeah, I totally agree. And also, just in case you didn't know, the photo contest is for all cameras and all abilities. So we've seen mobile phone photography, we've seen film photography, full frame, micro four thirds. I'm agnostic. I just want to get people out and about shooting, to be honest. And this is a beautiful image. I think sometimes when you have lighting as good as this, you've just got to stop and take a photo, haven't you? It's gorgeous. And I just think like how it's been sort of developed on the film, because you have you can still see the contrast, but you get a lot more dynamic range with film because you can still see everything outside of the window as well, whereas sometimes on digital you can overexpose through the window if you're not careful. So I think, yeah, film was a great choice for this, and it's gorgeous. So yeah, so someone in the comments has said, I love the reflections on the wood. Cats are just as good, let's be honest. Yeah, I have a cat as well. I'm very allergic to my cat, which is why I spent the last 10 years on antihistamines. But she's worth it. She's worth it. Right, so Joseph, with this, frankly, ridiculously beautiful photograph, he said, the light just caught my eye while we were driving and I had to stop, brackets, leaving my disgruntled passengers in the car yet again. That made me laugh so much because whenever I'm out with my dad taking photographs, we just pull in at every single blooming lay-by and take photographs, and anyone in the car with us gets very annoyed. So I totally relate to that. So it's certainly an iconic scene, afternoon light nailing the castle. I even used one of your fab presets for this one. It's certainly the best of 2024 for me. Well, thank you. I mean, gorgeous tones anyway, but yeah. I love seeing my preset in the wild. It's the coolest thing ever. If anyone does want to fund my gas and also future photo contests, there is a discount code in the description, Party25, for any presets or workshops that you would like. That's until January 1st. So, how gorgeous is this image? Seriously. I love that it's a slightly wider crop. Obviously the lighting hitting the castle is perfect. You've got the autumnal tones and you've got the layers. I could absolutely see that on someone's wall. Like, that's just gorgeous. Now, the next two are a testament to trying new things. And this is something that I have done myself this year. I don't know if you saw it, but a couple of months ago I got an infrared converted camera and I had a ball with it. It was only about £200 to get the whole thing done, and yeah, I had great times. I've got a dedicated video for that, and I maintain it's the best fun you can have. If you are looking for a new photography project that doesn't cost the earth, it is so much fun. And you can take it in different directions. So these two are really cool. So you've got this pink sort of look, which is a gorgeous photo. And then we have this really cool sort of white and blue as well, which I need to find the appropriate filter to try this because I've just got candy cane craziness with mine. So here is what the caption was for this one. I couldn't decide at first, and then I remembered one of your videos that influenced me, your under £200 project. It inspired me to take on a similar challenge, but I aimed even lower, and I got this for under €100. Okay, so you can find it even cheaper, no excuses. That led to my last purchase of the year, the Olympus EP1, which I converted to shoot infrared. What a revelation. It felt like stepping into a parallel universe. Infrared world has given me so many great shots and endless joy. Yeah. What do you think of infrared? I mean, obviously, you know, it's very sort of niche. I don't think I'd shoot infrared every day of the week, but I think it's super good fun. And I think, yeah, it's really creative because it works best on super bright days. So those horrible, super blue sky, midday sun sort of moments work perfectly in infrared, whereas, you know, you might not take your camera otherwise. So, yeah, keeps you shooting. It looks like everything is covered in ice. It really does. Yeah, it really does. I think it would be really interesting to see what this looks like outside of infrared as well, because my instinct is everything would be green and relatively summery. Well, maybe not because we've got a couple of bare branches, but yeah, it's super cool. It's like a winter wonderland. So definitely give infrared a go if you are in a photography rut later in 2025. So, what an amazing thing to capture to begin with this photo from Stefan. But the caption I thought was really sweet. It's perhaps not the best photo of the year, but it is the most meaningful for me. 3 friends and I were driving a long distance through Atlas Mountains. We were killing time by telling tales from our past, and it turned into a more serious confession and sad experiences with love relationships from 2 of us. The mood in the car grew heavy, and there were even some tears shed, and fittingly it started to rain outside. Just a little while later, in one of the valleys, a rainbow appeared stretching across the sky. We decided to stop at a lay-by to take it in, and that's when we saw him, a peacock showing his beauty. What a momentous coincidence. The peacock, a symbol of love, transformation and wisdom in so many cultures, seemed like the perfect message from the universe, and it embodied everything that we needed in that moment. I mean, this is what I love about photography. I love that you don't have to get an image that speaks to the masses. You don't have to get an image that speaks to 1,000 people. You can get an image that is important to 3 people in a car on a road trip, and that's something that is sentimental to them for the rest of their lives. I mean, it's a gorgeous image anyway, but they're gonna look at that and see something very different than what we will. We'll just be like, wow, there's a rainbow, there's a peacock, that's amazing. But they're like, this is a symbol of our friendship. And I just think photography is amazing for that. I've got a few photographs like that myself where it's completely like people looking at it will be like, it's you know, you can't tell the story unless you were there, but then it means a lot to me. I wonder if anybody else has had that experience. Peacocks make the funniest noises. I love the meaning behind the shot. Yeah, it's so good. Right, on to the next. Thank you for sharing your story. I think it's a beautiful story, Stefan, and a beautiful image. Oh, this is right up my alley. Let's have a look at the comment. Inspired by Emily's video about the possibilities in live composite mode, I got very excited when they started to build a Ferris wheel right in the small harbour in our city. Soon after shooting, I met another photographer who had the same idea. He also recommended another better spot, and that's where I took my best photo of the year. Thank you, Emily, for your inspiration throughout the contest and for bringing people and ideas together. That's so lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that story as well. I mean, this is why the photo contest has honestly been like the highlight of my year. Hearing people's stories where they've seen a technique that I've tried in a video and then gone out and got something as amazing as this. Are you kidding me? I would be so proud of this image if I took this. I just think it's gorgeous and a perfect view spot, so your friend was absolutely bob on with that advice. But yeah, I love the idea that it can bring people together. Photography can bring people together. And I've had that experience, you know, if you go to like a viewpoint in like a national park and it's just photographer soup, you can see what everybody else is doing and, you know, you can get ideas from one another. Yeah, I think it's a great thing to do alone. I find a lot of like mindfulness and being present when I go on photo walks on my own, but I love so much going out with friends. Like, I've been on some cracking photo walks with George Holden this year. We've done some street photography around Manchester on a few occasions, and it's like a therapy session. It's great. And he's so much more confident than I am. You know, just getting the photo, and I'm like, So yeah, I love it. I love the collaboration, and my goodness, my my good moderator and best friend Rebecca in the comments, we did the Kingfisher shoot this year, which, just in case you don't know what a Kingfisher is, why did I feel the need to show that? Anyway, we did the Kingfisher hide. Cracking video on the channel, actually. We just ate snacks and slowly went crazy. We were in there for about 10 hours. Yeah, it was totally worth it. So yeah, collaboration with friends, I highly recommend. And then we have one more in honourable mentions, which is this street photography shot that caught my eye. And this is incredible. Again, this is what really catches my eye about street photography, when happenstance happens, when things that only ever happen once and you're there to capture it, It tickles my nerd buttons. It really does. So, yesterday I was walking in Copenhagen, snapping some photographs, but it was a desert of ideas, nothing good at all. I was on my way back to the metro when I saw the star at the shop window. I saw a woman entering the frame. With a quick turnaround, a single shot, done. The battery died shortly after. But I got a good photo, I did. Yes, you blooming did. Yes, you blooming did. And I love the idea that you took this photo and then your camera immediately died. It was meant to be. So yeah, thank you so much for the honourable mentions. And I'm just going to have a quick peruse in the comments before we move on to the top 10. Let's have a look. Will there be a photo contest in 2025? Sophia has asked in the comments. So, yes, there will be. There will, but it will look slightly differently. What I found this year is monthly is like, it's a little bit of a time commitment for me to go through, because at one point during the summer there was like the biggest entry that we got in one of the summer months, I think, was over 1,000 images, and I'm doing it on my own, which I love. It's a labour of love. But what I want to do in 2025 is I want to do them quarterly. I want to do them on the live stream like this, because it's nowhere near as scary as I was expecting, actually. Yay! And I want to make the prizes bigger and more impactful, and maybe get some more sponsors involved so I can get some bigger prizes for everyone as well. So yes, there will definitely be a contest in 2025, but probably quarterly. So if you're not already, join my mailing list, because that is where these will get announced. So yeah, there's a link in the description to join my mailing list, and I hope to see many more fresh faces in the contest in 2025. Okay, so on to the top 10. So the way that this works is, where's my top 10? Oh yeah, we got the text. So the way that this works is the top 10 are like shortlisted, but they're not ranked in any specific order. It's just 3, 2, 1 that are in a specific order for the prizes. But if you made the top 10, you made the shortlist, so congratulations to you. Cool. So, oh, Rebecca is asking, just before I jump in, and guest critiquers on the photo contest. Yes, this is something that I wanted to do this year, but I just didn't get enough blooming time to organise it. I really wanted, like, on street photography, to have, like, George Holden come in and chat, or if it's portraiture, have Rebecca come in and be a critiquer with me, you know, getting someone who's a specialist in the prompt. So that is definitely something that I'm going to look into next year, and if it's quarterly, I'll have more time to dedicate it and make it bigger and better and cooler. Excellent. So I took this photo of the sun setting over an American bison in a local park. It reminds me of the sunset challenge that you had earlier in the year. I love the way that the spiderwebs in the grass draw the attention to the backlit bison. Yes, I love that too. When I read that, oh, that's probably a little bit too zoomed in, Emily. But yeah, you can see the spiderwebs in the sun. It's so cool. What? Hold on to your hats. It's taken with the EM10 Mark II, no edits. This is just an Olympus JPEG straight from the camera. He says, I'm struggling to learn how to edit photos. I think that this is my 2025 photography goal. I might start shooting in RAW so it forces me to learn how to edit. Are you kidding? This is straight out of camera. It's absolutely blooming gorgeous. Yeah, Olympus JPEGs are stunning for that. And the lighting. It just goes to show you don't even need to edit if you've got the lighting and the subject and the interest and the snoot booping in the condensation. What a weird sentence, Emily. But yeah, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous image. And the fact that it's not even blooming edited is incredibly inspiring. Yes, there we go. The snoot steam. That's what I should have said. Thank you. We got someone in the comments say, the drunk wedding photographer, pick me as a guest critique, I'll be merciless. No. No, it's got to be constructive, I think. Yeah, it's not a roast, but I appreciate your enthusiasm. Jackson doesn't need to learn how to edit, it's perfect out of the camera. It is so, so true. Yeah, I mean, if you, I think, you know, editing can elevate an image, but you are effectively polishing a turd if it's not good out of camera. Pardon my crassness. Anyway, should I have that on our t-shirt? You can't polish a turd. So, next in the top 10 from Thomas, we have this photo was taken down California Street in San Francisco with a 400mm lens. I was lucky with the sun being perfectly aligned with the streets. I've always wanted to have a go at this sort of photography. It reminds me like, like Inception almost, how it's like the focal length is so long that it completely compresses and changes the perspective of everything. This is just textbook beautiful. You're so right that the streaks of light are really striking. They're exactly where people are walking. This has got everything going for it. And I preach about this a lot on my channel. Actually, I don't preach about it a lot on my channel. I preach about this a lot on my photo critique. So some of you have heard this before. But I think a well-placed black and white image is worth its weight in gold. Because if you look at this and you imagine, they've got different coloured t-shirts on. The cars are all different colours. There might be street signs. It's very, very distracting. Whereas if we remove those distracting elements and we're just left with the contrast and the light and the dark and the story, it makes it so much more striking. So excellent, excellent choice in the editing there. Very well done. Yeah, I'm a sucker for black and white. It annoys me with Instagram sometimes because they say that black and white images don't do as well. I guess people like shiny, colourful things on the feed. But yeah, I am a sucker for black and white. In terms of like camera presets, I love the Pen F monochrome. Absolutely gorgeous. And in the Lumix lineup, I love the Lumix Leica monochrome. Delightful. Add a bit of extra contrast, bit of grain, no editing required. Oh, this is great. And this one had a caption that I think we can all relate to. So, this was taken at Swansea Air Show on a Nikon D7500. I gave it a light edit. I have taken loads of photos this year and it was hard for me to pick my best as I often think my photos aren't any good. I'm still learning and trying to find my style. Now the idea that someone can take this blooming image and think that their photos aren't very good, like, what? That's crazy to me, but I think as photographers we all get that sort of imposter syndrome sometimes. Like, I was trying to find some of my favourite photographs myself to just show, as examples on this live stream, and I was getting overly picky and thinking, that's not good enough, maybe I did better last year. So I think we do all struggle for it. Oh, you're in the comments, yay, you did make the top 10, very well done. But yeah, the composition is perfect, the editing, not like, I think in these sorts of images, sometimes the instinct is to like ramp up the saturation and really make it overt. I think the shape speaks for itself and the colours just add to it. But yeah, you are an excellent photographer. And yeah, I think we all suffer from imposter syndrome. I think that's perfectly normal. But yes, you are very, very talented indeed. And thank you for sharing your image. So going back to happenstance and coincidence and having an eye for whimsy. These are things that I really value in street photography, and if I took this photo I'd be super duper happy. So I was standing at the centre of Newcastle. I was waiting to cross the road. I noticed a crane lifting 2 big bags up, but I was kicking myself because I didn't have my camera out and I missed it. I figured it might happen again. While I was getting my camera out, the skip appeared. This time it was right behind the figurine and it looked like she wasn't just directing it but actually lifting the skip. I used a relatively long focal length, 85mm, to get as much compression as possible to bring the two subjects together. Like, to have the technical skill to know that you'd need a longer focal length to make this pay off, to be in the right, like, to have patience to hope that it happens again once something's got your spidey senses tingling. Amazing. Yeah, I think street photography like this is just an absolute gem. I love this image. It's lined up perfectly. Don't skip arm day. It's brilliant. Yeah, so it's juxtaposing separate objects to create a new meaning in the comments. Exactly that. You know, I think street photography is rife with it because it's always so many elements of chaos going on. Like I keep talking about George, but he is an excellent street photographer. He will go to Manchester and do the same loop for 3 hours, and it's the same backdrops. He knows which corners give him the most statistical chance of interesting things happening, but it's different every single loop and every single day because the lighting is different and the people there are different, and you never know what you're going to come across with street photography, and that's why I always like it. It's probably the most accessible type of photography because we can all just go and walk in our local town or city. It costs nothing, and you find interesting things like this, which I love. Oh, banger. This is also right up my street. How many talented people do we have in this photo contest? Can I just say? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Before I move on to the top 3 shortly, I will show the previous winners as well, because I do want to shout everyone out that's won this year because there's been some amazing photographs, before I forget. So, this is gorgeous. So the caption is, I love how each person in the photo tells a different story and gives the viewer more and more to think about the longer that they look at it. I'm also stoked that I managed to catch the diver just as he was hitting the water. Yeah, that's so true. In, not out. Yeah, you've got him just diving. And it's so true. I think this is one of those images that probably breaks a lot of rules in photography. But I think there is like order in the chaos, and I love images like this. I love that you could, you know, follow your eye journey and follow all the people in, and just, yeah, there's something different to see every time you look at it. And I also really like the editing choices. I don't know, I mean, water can look that green, but I think that sort of tone against this warmer rock is just gorgeous as well. It's almost like split all the way down the centre between the rock and the sea. Yeah, it's great. It's like a Renaissance, an accidental Renaissance painting. Yeah, it's so good. So we've got, I love it, perfect timing and colours. It's complementary colours in the shot. Yes, exactly right. I reckon if we had this on a colour wheel and we colour picked them, they would be opposite on the colour wheel. It's a really nice image. And you're right in the comments, it does have a warm filmic comment. Yes. Warm filmic quality, should I say. Okay, yes. We've got one more, I think, in top 10. Am I right? Yes, maybe 2. I'm bad at maths, in case anyone hasn't noticed. So this is just what the heck in the best way possible. The caption is, on Brooklyn Bridge, it was one of the first pictures I had taken in 2024. Till this day, I still have no idea what is going on here or who they even were. Thinking now I wish I would have asked them. Are you kidding? Yeah, it's so true. I mean, this is also, again, why I like street photography. You never know what you're going to come across. And I love this image because it feels just bizarre. It feels like it could be a frame in a movie, maybe. What do you think in the comments? What vibes does this give you? I know I like it, but I can't quite describe it. So in the comments there's got to be a fun story here. And yes, it raises so many questions. And I think that's like the crux of it. If you're looking at an image and it raises questions, then it is innately telling a story. So yes, excellent. Is that? Yes, so this is the last one in the top 10 before we move on to the top 3, and I'll show you the winners from last year. Now this one, like, what? This is just the story of having sort of this oil rig or whatever it is, matching the nature elements here and the birds as well. Like, it's gorgeous. And the caption says, I rarely shoot black and white or use a telephoto lens, but for this shot I did both. So yeah, I mean, the juxtaposition of this is gorgeous. And again, I think stripping back the colour really helps to just show the contrasting elements very well. It really caught my eye and it has a great story to tell. So yes, that was one of my favourites. So, Before we move on to the top 3 and announce the lovely, lovely prizes, I'm just going to show you the past winners. But I'm just going to have a look through the comments. Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got great photos, some dune-like scenery, wonderful monochrome, the contrast is great. Yeah, excellent, excellent, excellent. So, past winners. In January, we had blue, and this was the winner. And I figured having some indoor photography is always great sometimes when the weather isn't too good. So yeah, gorgeous. In February, we had negative space, and I just thought this was such a beautiful composition and so understated. It had to be the winner. And then in March, we had long exposure, and you can see it in the water. And I think that adding in the long exposure in this scene really adds to like the ethereal quality of it. Sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of making the water very wispy, because I think sometimes the action tells the story better, and sometimes people use this technique for the sake of using it, but in this instance I think it really adds to the image and adds in a lovely leading line. So yeah, very, very well deserved for March. And then this one, this is giving me CD cover vibes. This was landscape and nature, and just the chaos of it, the drama of the waves, everything frozen in motion. I just thought it was absolutely stunning and absolutely chaotic. So yeah, excellent. And then in May, we had sunrises and sunsets, and this is what the bison image was reminding the previous photographer of, because a lot of the images in sunrises and sunsets had this very, very golden vibe. And yeah, I just thought having the symmetry in nature and everything lined up, ducks in a row, but I just thought it was gorgeous. Gorgeous. And then June, we had a lady after my own heart doing kingfisher photography for action. And I picked this because I know how bloomin' hard kingfisher photographer is. And my goodness, she put mine to shame. This is gorgeous. And then in July, we had a bewildering, wonderful photo. The prompt was vintage and retro, and it absolutely baked my noodle, because everyone's dressed in old sort of clothes, but it's like a convention, and you see it and you think, okay, that's old, and then you look and see people have mobile phones in their hands, and you understand that it's sort of just, you know, it's fake, it's phony, it's beautiful. I like the layers in this as well, with the people, the cars, and yeah. Gorgeous image. And then street photography, that one I think was probably the most, that was the one that had the most entries. So I think maybe for 2025 I might do a street photography one. Let me know in the comments which prompts are speaking to you, and I'll make sure to get them in for next year. But yeah, I loved this one very much. Just having, again, stripping away distractions using black and white, because think of all of the mad colours that would be in this otherwise. So now you're just left with this really cool bubble, and you can even see people through it. Like, amazing. Frank in Blackpool, yes, I do think it was from Fleetwood. I think the beach was a localish one to us. And this one is as well. This is Crosby Beach. This one was nighttime photography. This one spoke to me because it's a very popular photography spot in the northwest. If you're from the area, you'll probably have seen this before. But I don't recall seeing it ever like this. You know, sometimes it's in daytime, long exposure. You know, seeing it with northern lights, I thought was a really unique spin on a very popular place. And I thought it was gorgeous. Gorgeous. And then October, we had symmetry. And again, I'm a sucker for chaos, order in chaos, chaos in order, and having sort of the man-made elements and having the birds together, I just thought was super interesting. And then finally, November, the prompt was man-made. and this was a well-deserved winner because I just love the layers upon layers upon layers, and I thought the framing was super unique. I said in the critique at the time, but if this wasn't here and it was just if the framing wasn't there and it was just a standard image, it would still be a very nice image, but I think the framing makes it special. Yeah, so those are the past winners, and let's go on without further ado to the top 3 for December and hand out some lovely, lovely prizes. Okay, and I'm going to remember to change the text. Oh yeah, I've not messed up yet. So, in third place, and I just gotta say, any of these could be in any order because they're absolutely gorgeous, but it was so hard to pick. So, in third place, we have this gorgeous, gorgeous image from Marcus. And just to recap, third place is a free moment course of your choice worth up to $299, and also a preset pack of mine of your choice as well, which is probably much less exciting than the course, but hey. So, the caption: I finally decided to drive to this spot and wait for the aurora to appear. Finally, after some time of waiting in the car, the lights appeared. Damn. Another reason that I'm so beautifully jealous of this photograph is this was my Northern Lights experience. I went on a Northern Lights cruise, I went to see the reindeer, and I got it on the plane home. So yeah, this is expectations versus reality. I know how tricky this is to capture, and this is incredible. And aside from the amazing aurora, of course, it's beautiful in terms of composition as well. We have the man-made object being balanced out by the mountain in the background. We have the rule of thirds in play, which is perfect where I would put it too, so we can really show off the sky. I just think it's absolutely blooming gorgeous. Yes, and Josh in the comments, who came to Norway with me, said that's the images I wanted to get. Me too. I came back and saw it, I'm like, damn, that's what we could have won. That's what we could have won, not that plain wing. It was a nice glint on the wing though. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you. I appreciate that. You should have seen me on the plane. I'm just going to put myself big to explain. The worst thing about photographing planes is there's reflections everywhere. So I got my coat out of the cabin and hid under my coat and pew like an absolute crazy person. And yeah, that was as good as I could get. That was as good as I could get. I really wanted to get something like this, but alas, yeah. So well-deserved third place. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, now on to number 2, which, as a reminder, we're going for the Mac Mini or the GX80, whichever number 1 doesn't pick, and also a free moment course of your choice worth $299 of the King's English pounds. Okay, this is my number 2 from Alex. I was on holiday in Lisbon this year. I was on a trek in the back streets and found this man deep in thought with a great view of lighting and shadow work behind him. Yeah, I am an absolute sucker for this. I was very much in a black and white mood when I organised these images, wasn't I? But just, you know, it's an interesting place to begin with, but having the person in here really sells the emotion. Like, when I look at this, what do you think when you look at this? I think like despair. And, you know, if you want to think a little bit abstract about it, you know, it's like never-ending repetitions. You know, it's sort of like, you know, never-ending sadness in a way. And I think it's beautifully edited, very, very minimalistic, and yeah, I just think it speaks to me. It's an image that poses questions, it gives me an emotion, and makes me think. And if your image can do just one of those things, you're onto a winner. So I think having all 3 is incredible. Yep, so we've got great leading lines in the comments. We love the composition. It's like an optical illusion. Yeah, it sort of is, isn't it? yeah, it's got like almost a vanishing point. And I like how the editing, like there's a little bit of distracting stuff at the bottom, but I like that there's just enough contrast that it doesn't distract you. I think it's beautiful. So yes, well deserved second place. Yeah, like composition, strong as heck. Everything is in place. So, I'm afraid you're going to have to wait for first place to decide what they want first, but you have won a fancy prize, either a Mac or a camera. Okay, so moving on to first place. Bit of a curveball, but I really like it. Here we have this beautiful, perfectly exposed, absolutely emotive, whimsical, inquisitive, beautiful wildlife shot. And also, outside of it being a beautiful shot, I need to say that I've checked out this gent's Instagram and he's 20 blooming years old. 20 years old and he's taking photographs like this. Imagine what he's going to be taking in 10 years. Like, what? So yeah, in terms of like clarity, it's absolutely gorgeous. Could not fault it. And I really like the 16:9 crop as well. I think it sort of lends to the story that the animals are really long and the crop's really long. So anyway, going back to the prompt, to the comment, it says, this photo was the result of possibly the best day of photography ever. After spending the morning photographing ospreys, my dad and I spent the afternoon in a woodland hide, watching squirrels and woodpeckers and all sorts of small birds flit in and out. However, these pine martins, I didn't know what they were, thank you for pointing that out. These pine martins were the real stars of the show. First out came Mum, checking us out and making sure the coast was clear. Then bouncing along behind her, these two gorgeous, inquisitive kits. I love the way that both of them have decided to pop their heads up at just the right time, clearly distracted by something out of frame. Yeah, I think I had a similar thing with the puffins, where when the animals mirror the behaviour, I just think it's a really interesting thing to photograph, and it's something that you've made look very, very easy, but it's not. This is probably the fruits of sitting for hours and hours and hours, and I just think it's fantastic. And the idea that like this person is 20 years old, so yeah, I mean, keep photographing and see where you end up, because you are excellent to begin with. So thus is our winner. And they win either an M1 Mac Mini or a Lumix GX80 and all of my preset packs as well. So the way that that'll work is first place will figure out what they want. I will be in contact with them in the next couple of days, just in case they see. I want them to see it here because I think it's quite exciting. I don't want it to be like revealed in like in an email or like an Instagram DM. I want them to see it in person here. So yes, that is the winners, and I hope you really enjoyed the photo contest this year. There's a couple of more things that I'd like to go through, like maybe a couple more questions, and so yeah, keep them popping on in the comments if there's anything else that you want to know. But yeah, I'm so proud of all the entries this year. It's been lovely, and it's been nice to see people submitting every month, and it's been getting people out using their equipment, which is what I always wanted it to be about. Anyway, for the 2025 contest, will there be any updates to the rules? For example, image entries will have to be taken within the quarter. No major edits to pictures except from basic exposure and so on. So I was thinking about this because sometimes it has to be on a little bit of faith, because if it's taken on a phone or uploaded to Instagram, I don't really know when it was taken. So my idea is potentially I'll do it for the space of a month, but every quarter. So you won't have the full quarter to take the image. It'll be in the space of a month. And I think, what do we feel about submitting, if you win or if you're a finalist, having to submit the unedited image? Because that will have the metadata that shows when it was shot. What do we think about that? It should come with metadata. I think that would probably rule out Instagram submissions, but honestly, the Instagram submissions are way less compared to the form on my website anyway, so I don't think that would be the end of the world. So yeah, maybe to be a bit more strict, we do it that you can edit as much as you like, And I don't care if, there's loads of things erased out or whatever. But if you do become a finalist, to not get disqualified, you need to provide the original JPEG or the original RAW file, I think. Yeah. Okay, so let's go with some questions. Questions. I've just seen, Josh has said, Ray-Bans, Metas, are they worth it or are they a gimmick? I bloomin' love my Ray-Ban Metas. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see all the time that I'm posting little day-to-day silly things with my glasses. I think they're great. I think the AI features are a bit pants, but as like a POV camera, they're absolutely wonderful. And then Michael said, how did you get into photography and why did you initially decide to go with Micro Four Thirds instead of APS-C or full frame? So, I was a Sony shooter for many, many years, and I did the APS-C cameras, like the SLTs they were called back in the day, and then they brought out their first hybrid camera, the first mirrorless camera, the first A7, I think it was, and I thought it was everything that I wanted and more because it was a small camera, but of course the lenses were huge, the battery life was terrible, it all got very expensive, and I ended up selling it because I saw a Pen F in John Lewis, and every day I'd go up to the glass and be like, I need that in my life, and that was what I ended up needing and wanting because it was actually a small camera that actually had small lenses and it was perfect. And then I got a G7 and then I realised how cool the video features were. And then I ended up selling the Pen F to get the GH5 to start this YouTube channel properly and to expand into wedding videography. And yeah, I deeply regret selling the Pen F, but I didn't have the funds at the time to be a mad camera hoarder. Oh, Jackson Larry, thank you so much for the kind comments. Of course. Any top tips to stop taking photos that are out of focus? It all depends on what you are shooting, I think, because sometimes it could be camera error. Sometimes you could be using a camera. You could be using. No, I don't want to update my tablet. Stop it. Sorry, all my texts from my beautiful moderator are on a tablet that just wanted to update itself. So I think, if you are shooting kingfishers, for example, with an older camera, then it may be that the technology is a barrier. If it's more just trial and error, I think burst modes are great. I think utilizing manual focus can also be very, very good. And if all else fails, just stop down a bit and inherently more of your background will be in focus anyway. And you've got much more chance of things being in focus if you're shooting at like f8 versus f2.8. So, some comments from a little bit earlier on. Thank you, Rebecca, for moderating the chat. You've been a bloomin' beaut. How did you go about lighting the underwater shoot? So, in the tank, there was 2 windows, and outside of that was 2 LED panels that you could put different coloured gels on. So, we tried a couple of different things, and Rebecca really kicked butt with this as well, because she was also there as the main photographer. So we tried white, which worked very well, and also blue. So you can see here, just off screen, that's where the light was being piped in. And sometimes we tried like yellow, and it just made it look like people were in a bog. It was the first time all of us had tried this style of photo shoot, so lots of trial and error, but we discovered pretty early on that cooler colours we think worked a little bit better. So, hi Emily, I have the GX7 and the GX8. I've had them for about 10 years, but the autofocus starts to annoy me at times. Is phase detect noticeably better for wildlife or mostly just for video? Honestly, if you're shooting fast moving subjects, phase detect is a massive jump up, and I think you would see a huge benefit. But if, it depends. If you're like me and you dabble in loads of things, contrast base is fine, but if you are specifically shooting fast things all the time, you've got to treat yourself and get some faster phase detect autofocus. So just got a comment on the screen now. Have you ever tried or thought of getting into film photography? Old as I am, that was when I started, and that's why I probably still favour black and white photos. So yes, Yes, I do, and I did. One of my most forgotten videos this year was I shot nothing but film photography for a month, and it was a collaboration that I did with George Holden, and he taught me all about film photography because he's a lot more knowledgeable about it than I am. I had a blast, and yeah, I really enjoyed film photography. I think the price of film is a little bit prohibitive at the moment, and I did have a couple of film photography stuff back in the day as well. I had the Olympus OM1 and the K1000. They were my original everyday carries for a while, back when film was like £3 a roll instead of 16. Oh, Rebecca's just told me that Jack is in the comments, the winner. I'm so glad that you got to see that live, Jack. Yay! Amazing, 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 amazing. Right, so, yeah, Rebecca's just said in the comments, as someone who photographs dogs for a living, phase detect makes the job 10 times easier. It really blooming does. Oh, yay, we've got Marlene as well. Just hello, and thank you for coming, Marlene, and Happy New Year to you too. So, any more questions? Any more questions? Oh, we've got one here. If there was any Micro Four Thirds camera that you'd want Lumix to update, what would it be and why? GM5. It would be the GM5. Just give me phase detect autofocus in the GM5. Or the Pen F though. Oh, the GM5 or the Pen F. Yeah. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap that up here because we've announced the winners. We've had a Q&A. We've had a lovely old time. But I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who's tuned in and everyone who's like enjoyed any of my videos this year. It's been wonderful, and anyone of course who has been in the photo contest as well throughout the year. If you are not already involved in the photo contest, make sure to join my mailing list, and remember, if you want to treat yourself to any presets, there is a 25% code in the description, and that helps fund things like the photo contest. I don't do anything overly flashy with it. It just helps to support the channel. So yeah, thank you everyone, and I hope you all have a wonderful new year. And I think I'm going to do more live streams because this wasn't as scary as I thought, and I actually really enjoyed it. I've been so afraid all day. I have. Yeah, in the comments a lot of people are saying Pen F. I think it's sort of an unwritten rule in Micro Four Thirds that we all want an updated Pen F, don't we? Hopefully we'll get something new from OM System in the new year at some point, and yeah, I can't wait. And hopefully Lumix too, but I don't know. I don't know anything. I wish I did. Okay, thank you, and thank you to Rebecca for moderating. I love you dearly. And yeah, I don't actually know how to end a stream, so this could be an awkward couple of seconds. Thank you so much, and I have a video coming out tomorrow which is all of my cameras, all of them ranked.